Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. The MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 112, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and joining me once again is the very sick but determined and dedicated Brian Hall.
Heyo.
Brian, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think we'd make it. It's been a month since we last did our show, and
I know
you've had a lot of life changes. You've switched jobs. You've almost died based on based on how you sound now, and how you sounded even worse last night. So we were actually going to record earlier. This is a little peek behind the curtain. We were going to record earlier in the week, and I talked to Brian, and he sounded like Gollum. And I was like, this is not going to end well. He's going to bite my finger off through the Skype. And I was like, this is bad news.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think I was pretty worse for wear at that point. And today, still sounds sick, but I feel much, much better now than I did at that point. So
this is the biggest gap we've ever had in all the years we've been doing this show.
Yeah, that's why I was so eager to do this.
Well, during the last month, have you had a chance to catch any new releases or anything like that?
Yeah. Well, I was going to bring up an old release just real quick because, as we said, I've been sick for the past couple days. And then one night I just could not sleep. And it was like 4 a.m. And on HBO, the movie Orange County was on with Colin Hanks and Jack Black.
Yes.
And I just started watching it because I couldn't sleep. I didn't remember the movie really well. And I had this weird sort of thought in the middle of it where, it's about this kid and he lives in Orange County and he feels trapped because everything is so, everyone's so rich there and out of touch, and his family's out of touch, and, his parents are divorced and with younger people, and his brother's kind of a stoner, and he's trying to get into this college. And about like 45 minutes into the movie, maybe even 50 minutes, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what is this movie about? And then I was like, oh, it's about people. Like, this is like a teen movie where no one touches a rock and gets magic powers.
Right.
Like, there's no like supernatural hook. It's just about, and then when it came to the conclusion, it was basically about him learning to appreciate the people he had neglected to appreciate in his life. And I was like,
what a concept.
What a nice story.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of the execution, if you're a fan of that or not, it's just like, they just don't make movies like this anymore. I mean, I know it's kind of an obvious or a cliche thing to say at this point, but it's kind of true. Like, teen movies always have some sort of crazy hook to them now or something, and like, it really just was about a boy learning to appreciate the people in his life, and I was like, felt kind of novel.
And that was Grandpa's Movie Corner with Brian Hall.
It was really odd. I mean, seriously, I can't think of a movie in the past year, 2 or 3, like that, really, that didn't have some sort of supernatural hook to it.
It's refreshing.
Or come out in December.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you caught anything else lately?
I did. I saw the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, okay. So I've seen this. Let's talk about this now. You and I have not had a chance to talk about this at all.
No.
So I don't know if I didn't write a review of this, but I did kind of tweet my reaction. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know if I did, actually. I don't know if I saw that.
Well, let's start with you. I mean, what did you think? Now, this is the follow-up to the very successful Lego movie 3 years ago. It's a spin-off in essence because it's Will Arnett as the version of Lego Batman who was in the Lego movie.
Right.
And this movie is doing gangbusters, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Both critically and commercially. I mean, it's doing really, really well.
Which is funny because, I mean, how often does that actually happen when you say critically and commercially, where a side character who's given their own movie actually ends up being in a good movie?
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
Like, usually, I hear this expression, where it's like the spice in the stew. Like, certain people are better spice in the stew rather than the whole stew. And he was definitely a spice in the stew of the Lego movie. And, like, would we be able to tolerate this egotistical, jokey Batman for an entire 90 minutes?
So I'm going to say, for me, honestly, a little went a long way.
Ah, okay.
So for me, I think and I fully acknowledge I'm in the minority on this because I liked it. I thought it was fine, but people are sort of over the moon in the reviews, and I'm like, man, I wish I liked the movie as much as this. I just thought it was okay, you know. To me, it really did feel like a joke that was probably stretched an hour longer than it really needed to be, or at least 45 minutes longer than it needed to be.
Right.
That means, I mean, I did like it, and I want to.
Yeah, sure.
Be
sure,
clear, I couch that. I think it's totally fine, but I wasn't ecstatic about it. But go ahead.
I liked it. Definitely liked it more than you did. I wouldn't say I was ecstatic about it, but I just felt like for what could have been, I felt like it was the best version of itself.
Sure. Which is a phrase we use a lot.
Yeah, like I really was like, I don't know how. I will agree with you that there was a point where I thought the movie was going to end, and I was like, okay, like I'd be happy if it ended here.
Right.
And then it went on for maybe another 15, 20. I realized it was the end of the second act and not nearing the end of the third act. And it was, I was like, but that said, once I realized it wasn't, I still enjoyed what was to come. Mm-hmm. But I totally get it. Like there was a point when it started, and Batman. I mean, there was just like all these jokes flying, and some of them are really clever, and some of them are a little like yuck kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I was wondering if I was going to be able to tolerate 90 minutes of that, like if it would just start to get a little obnoxious, just with the jokes flying so fast and furious. But like, I really enjoyed it. I was actually surprised that I thought it was a pretty good mix of like humor and action and heart. So I quite enjoyed it. There was even a part at the end, you know, where there's like a perilous moment with this one character, and I actually gasped. Huh. And I kind of realized to myself, I was like, oh, I am actually into this.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, as you know, I've talked about before how I get overcome by the sheer volume of really god-awful kids movies, and this at least stood out from that pack.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
You know, but I did not. I mean, to me, the Lego Movie was just kind of transcendent almost. I just thought it was fantastic, you know, and this was like okay.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know,
I did enjoy the fact too that it, like, I did really get invested in its stakes. I mean, you know, for as much as you can in a movie like this, but. At the same time, it did still, in the vein of the Lego Movie, it did still feel like it could have almost just been kids horsing around with their toys.
Right.
You know
which
what I mean?
Is
like the
which
way,
it should be.
Yes. And I guess, and then I was wondering, I mean, is that what this Lego universe is all of these films supposed to sort of feel like?
Yeah.
Like if we pulled the camera back, you would see these kids playing with their toys. Because, you know, it incorporates characters from other Warner Brothers movies, or sorry, Lego movies. Or, you know,
right.
Like, who have been from Lego sets or something.
Right.
But I did enjoy Batman's arc. I mean, it was quite obvious to anyone over a certain age what the arc would be in the first act. But at the same time, I did enjoy watching him grow. And, you know, they set up like a little beat in the first act that you know is going to sort of pay off in the second act in terms of his growth. But I was still satisfied seeing it.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
And it was fun. There's a lot of like Batman in jokes. You know, like the bat shark repellent, and
yes,
I noticed Harley Quinn was wearing a Smilex shirt, which I thought was funny.
It's definitely. I mean, it's what is this like? Have they nailed basically every single Batman villain ever? Like we've a little bit of screen time to every, regardless of how ridiculous they are. You know, I think
right.
Like you can never say, oh, there so and so has never made an appearance on the big screen, because I think this movie basically gave every single Batman baddie.
Yeah.
A second of screen time, you know?
Yeah.
I thought it was clever that they had Billy D. Williams as Two-Face.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm kind of done with Lego Batman. Like, I don't need another one of these.
You know, it's funny, because I would go to another one, and I'm sure I would enjoy it. Because, again, I'm not expecting, like, some sort of Pixar transcendent sort of thing out of it. Like, I'm just looking to be entertained for, like, 90 minutes, like... And I mean this in the nicest way possible, but something that's disposable but still enjoyable during that 90 minutes. And that's what I found this to be in the best way. I mean that. But like there was a commercial before it for Ninjago. Ninjago. And I was sort of like, eh.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because like that's the one that my kids are excited about.
See, well, and that's great, right? I mean, maybe it's because I'm endeared to Batman or something, but
yeah,
like,
well, I had the reaction to the Ninjago trailer too, where I'm like, you know, because that's coming out in a few months,
right?
And I'm kind of like, Like they all kind of look the same. These Lego
Yes.
movies, you know.
Yeah, feeling a little like the humor is very, very similar.
Yeah, but so the boys though. I mean, they watch the Ninjago TV series, which is it's a series. I mean, it's Lego. It's a Lego TV series, but it has its own little mythology and everything. So they're really excited about that.
So are these the same characters then, or is it just same universe? Or?
I'm assuming that this movie would fit in with that TV show.
I see.
Yeah, because that's a Lego show, right? Ninja Lego.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, there's, Ninja Turtles and then there's Lego Ninja Turtles. No, this is just Ninjago. They're all little Lego guys.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, but that's out later this year, so I'm sure we will be talking about it. Most likely me telling you I saw it. Probably slept through it, I'm guessing.
That's funny.
Other movies, I saw The Great Wall. And
yes.
Based on the box office, I'm one of the few people that saw The Great Wall. I think it made $18.75, which is like my ticket, basically.
Wow! Over
the weekend. So this is a Chinese American co-production. It is set in ancient China. It's directed by Zhang Yimou, and it stars Matt Damon. One of these things is not like the other. So this movie it got a lot of flack, like even before it came out, for the last 8 months, I would say, where people are like, how is this, kind of like the real just reflexively offended crowd.
Right.
Kind of got upset because they're like, how dare you have a white person in China? And then it became like, how dare you have a white savior story? And it became kind of the same thing. And so I was like, all right, well, let's check it out. And, I'm going to say it's not that bad, this movie. I think it's unworthy of the tomatoes that are being tossed at it for that reason, which is like, oh my gosh, like, why couldn't they find a Chinese actor?
Right.
And to me, that argument sort of discounts the fact that, well, Matt Damon is a big star in China, so like maybe the Chinese want to see Matt Damon, like
Sure.
I mean, clearly, this is a film that is like 99.9% Chinese and 1% Matt Damon. 0.01% Matt Damon,
Right.
So I think the uproar is a little much, but I don't think it's phenomenal. I just think it's kind of a nice. It's entirely enjoyable. I took my 10-year-old; he liked it. You pretty much leave it in the theater, but it's like a nice movie you can watch with kids that are slightly older.
Is it like Pacific Rim kind of a thing?
In what sense?
I just wasn't getting the movie. Like, it's like an army versus monsters, right?
That's the movie. So you do get it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, basically there's these like ancient monsters that in Chinese legend you see etchings on or near the wall that per the mythology in the film, those are actually monsters that the wall is meant to keep out of China.
Right.
And so Matt Damon is this like European like a mercenary who ends up at this wall, and he ends up joining this army and yada yada. I mean, it's entirely predictable.
Sure.
But I would say if you're looking at his character arc, I mean, it's kind of the inverse of the 13th Warrior.
Okay.
In the sense that that is the Easterner who joins this group of Nordic people, and kind of his skills help them fight off this army of monsters, right?
Right.
This is a European who joins this Eastern army, and they fight off a horde of monsters.
Right.
So, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's, just another white savior story. And I'm like, I'm with you to an extent, but this is not that, So, like, maybe watch it before you, like, start losing your minds,
Sure. Some people just
want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Another movie.
Eager to write an article.
That's exactly. It's we live in a clickbait world.
Yeah.
One more movie that I saw. You have not seen it yet, but it is Logan.
Yeah.
So I'm
excited about that one.
Hugh Jackman's final turn as Wolverine. The day is finally upon us, Brian.
Well, it's funny because I remember when this was announced and they're like, they're going to make it R-rated. I was like, no.
Yeah, and then Deadpool got like the highest opening weekend ever for an R-rated movie. Like, maybe we will. Add more F words.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, and here it is. They did it.
The first half hour of the movie has like one F-bomb every 2 minutes. I feel like that was almost like they wrote it in like Sharpie after Deadpool did so well, you know?
That was like, did you ever watch the R-rated cut of the fourth Die Hard movie?
I didn't. Yeah, the unrated cut, right?
Yeah, it feels because it was rated. It was the first PG-13 rated Die Hard movie, and there's a version that's the quote unquote R-rated version, and it's funny because they all throw in all these F words, but they're all over the shoulder basically. So it almost feels like they ADR'd them in.
They ADR'd the F bombs.
Yeah, which is just like, oh, guys, come on.
That's really funny.
That's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, it's funny. But what I remember, I haven't seen that movie in 10 years. My gosh, it came out 10 years ago.
Wow.
Die Hard 4. And I think the last time I saw it was like when it first came out on home video. But what I remember is how the yippee-ki-yay, the F word is like covered by a gunshot.
Right. It's
and
like drowned out.
It's drowned. I'm like, I was with you like for the whole 2 hours of this thing, right up until that thing at the very, very, very end. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Just say yippee-ki-yay. Don't say, like, don't insult me, yeah. This is just insulting what you're giving me. But I will say Logan. I'm not gonna discuss it, but I will say this: as I watched it, and you see Hugh Jackman come up, and you're kind of like, man, this is it. We got like 2 more hours of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It was like for me like watching President Obama on the morning of Inauguration Day last month. You're like, he's leaving, That's what it felt like for me. But I'm looking forward to discussing. That's all I'll say. Am I suitably completely vague so that you?
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask for more, but I realize what you're doing now, so I'm going to leave it at that.
I just, I want you to have your own experience, and then we will record. I want to put it on wax right now. We're going to record opening night of Logan. Yep. I'm committing you to this, Brian. Now.
All right.
This is part of the record. So we'll record Thursday night so that people can watch it Thursday night, and we'll drop our show Friday morning.
And can we just say this? God bless the no longer midnight screenings.
Dude, you ain't lying, man. Seriously.
I have a good friend who just loved midnight screenings, and there was a time where I was like, yeah, totally, like new Batman movie or something like that, midnight, of course.
Yeah.
But then it was just like I just get too tired, or it was just too much. And now that they have the Thursday before the opening where it's like 8:00,
oh, it's fantastic.
It's just like, I'm making the action where I kiss my fingers like a person who just had a tasty bowl of pasta. It's the best.
It's amazing because like I on Thursdays I teach class at from 4:45 to 6:20.
Okay.
And the school that I teach at is 2 minutes from my house. And so I get done at 6:20, and then I'm able to just drive over to the movie theater, which is also 2 minutes from my house.
That's awesome.
And I can sit down in the seat that I have reserved, because we now have reserved seating here in the Bay Area.
Uh-huh.
And, and I just kind of, this past week, I kind of looked around and looked at my situation, and I was like, can things get any better? And then a nuclear war started the next morning, so I realized I should not have done that. Yeah. But yeah, it's great for our show, certainly, because 7:00, like once the dam broke, it's like studios didn't even try to, like, I mean, they still count Thursday night at 7 into opening day, which
right.
Like, I don't care, that's fine, I get to see it earlier, but like, come on.
That's hilarious.
But we will be talking about that in 1 week, so we will make up for the fact that we missed a couple episodes.
Yeah, and very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. So before we got lots of content to discuss today, but before we do that, I wanted to share my interview with Bill Nighy.
Yeah.
So, dude, how big of a Bill Nighy fan are you? I'm such a big fan of this guy.
Oh, dude, like when he shows up, like he's just like a presence. He's always a delightful presence in anything. So yeah,
it doesn't matter what the movie is. At the very least, when the portion that involves Bill Nighy, you're going to get a good performance.
Yeah.
And the quintessential example of this for me is Total Recall from a few years ago.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, remember they remade Total Recall? That was a thing that happened, and it's been recalled from our memory.
Dude, I literally said that sentence last night. Seriously, because the original was on. And I was like, oh yeah, they made a remake to this. I completely forgot that existed.
But that reaction is the only acceptable reaction to the Total Recall remake.
Right.
is what you just described. However, there's a portion. Bill Nighy is like the Quato character.
Oh, okay.
He's not like a big horrible mutant or whatever, but he plays that role in the story.
Sure.
And again, it's like, oh, sweet, Bill Nighy. Like, it's like that.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you don't know who Bill Nighy is, what are you doing listening to this show? Like, we expect that we expect you to have that level of knowledge. Come on.
Sure.
Come on now. But you know him from Love Actually. You know him from Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. That's what I was. Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead was actually the first time that I really remember thinking, man, this guy, and then of course he was Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean, and
right.
He was in State of Play, the British miniseries version. He's in a new film right now called Their Finest, and this is a period drama set during World War II, and it's a romantic comedy starring Gemma Arterton and Sam Claflin. Gemma Arterton, who you know who she is, right? She's
oh yeah. Clash of the Titans.
She was in Clash of the Titans. She was in Quantum of Solace. She gets covered by oil, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
That was her. Sam Claflin was in Me Before You, the movie where he plays the quadriplegic who...
Yes. I watched half of that on someone else's screen on an airplane once.
Oh, there you go. And what did you think of the half that you saw?
Very, very moving.
Okay. So
the woman turns around and is like, why are you crying?
You quickly look away. Okay, I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah. So Their Finest. So Bill Nighy plays a supporting role in this as an actor who's kind of over the hill. He's past his prime, and he's forced to act in these informational propaganda films, and he's trying to sort of find something there, to do in this kind of drudge work.
Okay.
So we had a chance to talk about Their Finest. We also had a chance to talk about State of Play, which I mentioned is just, I'm such a big fan of that miniseries, and he plays a pretty key role in that. And then we ended up kind of talking about the role of the media and everything, and, talking about the aftermath of the election and what's been going on. So I had a fun time talking with Bill Nighy, so let's go ahead and play that audio. So, I've seen you say in self-deprecating fashion that, they needed somebody sort of cantankerous and difficult, and they called you. And I know, obviously, you say that somewhat jokingly, but I was curious. I mean, do you see a lot of yourself, or do you see a version of yourself in Ambrose?
No, not really. Not in terms of his behavior, but in terms of... I assume when anybody, is anything less than attractive in the way they conduct themselves, that it's always born of insecurity and vulnerability, which doesn't make it excusable. It's just a way of trying to understand it. So I would, in terms of insecurity and, above average difficulty persuading yourself that you can do your job, I identify with that.
Sure.
But only in the way that is, for most people, I think, I hope it's not just me, but I think, most people have, are besieged to some degree by self-doubt, and so I identify with that. His way of expressing it is something that I actually, I build my life around avoiding.
Wow. I mean, you've been acting for a long time, and I was actually thinking about how, you achieved sort of a level of fame that, people know you by name, I would say probably a little bit later in your career.
Sure.
Do you consider that a blessing in a way, in that you were able to, you saw both sides well before it could go to your head?
Yeah, I do, really. I mean, I have no idea what the alternative would be like, so I can't really compare, but I have a pretty strong suspicion that that's the case, yeah. I mean, it was scheduled quite well. My only regret is that mind you, I was doing pretty well. I always had a lively career, and I worked,
right.
Before I became sort of instantly recognizable or anything, as they say, I'd worked with some of the greatest writers in the world, some of the greatest directors, people. All my dreams have basically come true, if I had any dreams. But I didn't have many dreams, really. I was just used to take it day at a time and hope for the best, But I think that it's probably a good idea that a degree of visibility and became a little later in life. I think that's probably a good thing, because for the reasons you suggest.
Yeah, and I mean, it struck me certainly watching the film that there's this. It's so very English, this film.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best way possible. And Lona is not English.
No. You sometimes find that, I think, when you get directors from a different country directing, like an American film, or it sometimes works out really well. I think Lona Scherfig is a sensational human being, and we'd tried to work together before, and it hadn't worked out. So I was thrilled to get this job. It's one of the nicest jobs I ever had, and I think it's one of the best films I've ever been involved with. She's a marvelous director. And Stephen Woolley, who produced it with Amanda Posey, his achievement is incredible over the years. He kind of was the British film industry for a period, But yeah, it's a very it's a very English subject, obviously. Excuse me, obviously, and you've got in depth, as they say, you've got an incredible British cast. But I think whatever the subject, whatever the material, Lona will bring a very particular eye to it, and she's just a very super successful storyteller.
And I mean, coming from you, who you have worked with directors across the spectrum, so certainly to have somebody described as a tremendous director. I mean, in your mind, what is it that makes for a fruitful collaboration between actor and director?
Well, with just that part of it, with my part of it, basically, which is where how I work personally with the director. Mm-hmm. She's just really, really clever. Yeah. She's brighter than I am, which is what you want from a director. You want a director who's cleverer than you. And she's, that's obviously desirable. And she laughs at my jokes, which is, very, very. That's what that's what I like, and that's what I need from a director. I mean, she literally comes around from the back of the monitor sometimes with tears coming out of her eye, having tried to keep quiet during the take, which is a very delicious, thing to have happen. But she's also gives you each day big presents, big gifts of ideas about how to either to be amusing or to the better to tell the story. She's really she has great practical help. Mm-hmm. She can really, which is not always the case, but it's great when it happens.
So when you're on a set like this and you have these, Gemma and Sam, they're kind of coming up. Gemma, who by the way, I mean, I was watching this film and I was like, I remember she was a James Bond girl, and I thought it's astonishing to me because that's usually a box that actresses have a very difficult time breaking out of. And
yeah.
She's spectacular in this.
Yeah.
Do you often have these young actors come up to you and ask for advice, and what kind of advice do you give about the industry?
Well, neither Gemma Arterton or Sam Claflin need any help from me.
Sure.
You don't have to wait to get good. You don't have to be. I mean, experience can help, I suppose, but in terms of any art form, and I do consider acting on a good day, not always, but given the material and given the fact that it's a collaborative affair. But when the stars align, it is a primary art form, and you don't have to be any particular age to be able to be any good at that, or to access that sensibility. I mean, it's true that sometimes younger actors will come up because they're usually what they want to know is, am I going insane? Do I sound terrible every time I open my mouth? And I am familiar with, on occasion, not in this movie, but on certain movies, it becomes, once you get to a certain age, people can mistake you for someone who knows what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like you're getting older because people start paying very close attention to what you're saying, and you realize they've mistaken you for someone who might be about to say something really wise or clever, Of course, nothing's changed except your body is deteriorating, but they don't know that. So it's like, it's kind of, so you have to kind of you have to make choices. But occasionally, and because I am also, as I say, no stranger to self-doubt. As particularly as a young actor, and when you're first on film sets, if you want to get paranoid, go on a film set, be an actor. It's perfectly designed to freak you out.
In what sense, though?
Well, even if it's only for the fact that in a minute 100 people are going to shut up, somebody's going to say action, and you're going to be the only person speaking, and everyone's going to be scrutinizing you. Then that's enough to make any human being. It's not natural. It's kind of it's like it's a recipe for discomfort.
Sure.
But sometimes people will. I've several times young actors will come up and you'll see they have there's something they want to say and they can't quite say it, and you know what it is. What it is am I okay? Mm-hmm. And you say, come in the trailer or come around the back of the set, and they say what are you? I'm quite handy for that because I am. I'm very accustomed to being paranoid and freaked out in a film. So I can say, are you paranoid and freaked out? And they go, yeah, I'm paranoid, because that's the thing you're not supposed to say. No one's supposed to cop for fear because, it's like, it's taboo because if you say the word, but actually if you say the word to another person who's got any kind of, decency about them, it actually, it unplugs it, it diffuses it to some degree. And, I've had that where, they'll say, will you hear me say a line? You go, sure, come and say a line. They say a line and you go, that's really good. And they go, really? That's what they want to know. That's what anybody wants to know. Is that okay? You go, because it's a weird thing. You can't observe yourself. Right. It's a weird thing being an actor. Yeah. You don't know, maybe it sounds really lame. Maybe this time you're going to get busted. You don't. It's that
imposter syndrome a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody, somebody's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Excuse me."
The jig is up.
Yeah. What exactly are you doing here? Whatever persuaded you to imagine that you were any part of this? And so I'm familiar with that. And in terms of advice, I have one sort of. It's not a joke, but it's a half joke thing that I say. Don't take drugs and pay your taxes, and it's not a joke. I mean both things. Drugs are the enemy of art, and pay your taxes, otherwise you'll end up having to do inferior work to pay the taxman.
Oh, sure.
Both of things I wish somebody had told me when I was young. Well, they probably did tell me when I was young, and I thought, yeah, that's because you're old.
Well, I mean, just doubling back on what you were saying, in terms of your own, I mean, even at this stage, after this many decades, you still deal with the insecurity of your performance.
It doesn't get any better. In fact, if anything, it depends. I mean, there are certain things where I allow precedent to embolden me, but not very many. I used to stand outside my back door every time I got a new gig, and I'd go through my list of credits, and if anybody asked me back, that was kind of incontrovertible. Do you know what I mean? That even I at my most paranoid, can't deny that if they asked you back, it's unlikely that it's a conspiracy to humiliate you.
They must have liked you.
Well, it's unlikely that it's a conspiracy to humiliate you twice. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, just to get you through the door. But yeah, because it's a very exposing thing. Mm. And I don't mean in any arty-farty sort of way, just a basic human level, having to stand up in front of people, whether it's on a stage or in front of a camera or in front of a crew or in front of an audience, is a very obviously very exposing thing, and it can make you feel vulnerable. That's what all those techniques are about. Those techniques are about trying not to feel like that. Arranging not to be self-conscious. That's what they're all about. That's what all those systems are about. Is trying to fool yourself into being okay about it or something weird. Nobody's okay about it. It's, and there are different levels, and not every single day do you go and be freaked out. It's usually at the beginning of jobs. Once you get going, you're okay. Yeah. Opening a play.
Sure.
Opening a play is the scariest thing I'll ever be involved in, I hope. And it's proper.
I hope.
Yeah. Well, you never know your luck. But it's proper. A young actor. I opened a play in New York a while back, and a young actor, not. This was a long time ago.
Sure.
And a young actor came up and said, "This is trauma, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, this is trauma." He said, "No, but like real trauma." I said, "Yeah, it's real trauma," and it really is.
But why? I mean,
which part of it do you not recognize as trauma? You have 2 and a bit hours. You have to achieve what? 1,500 things that have been arranged in rehearsals. It all goes dark. There are 1,000 people there, and 25 of them have pen and paper. and they're going to put.
I'm getting nervous here.
And they're going to put your report in the national newspaper the following day.
Sure.
And the whole. Everybody's future, everyone who's worked so hard on the project, that all depends on you not messing up.
Sure.
You know, I mean, quite apart from...
I'm feeling high.
You know, it's like, I can't... That doesn't really express it. It's a whole... You go into an altered state. For instance, not because of any great artistic reason, but I can't remember any first night. Anything that happened on stage. I can only remember when they clapped at the end. Because you're in the degree of... The amount of adrenaline which floods your system is so tremendous that any kind of memory is like, gone.
So I was just recently, I rewatched State of Play, and I watched it actually back to back with the American one. Have you seen the American, the redo?
No, I didn't see it.
Helen Mirren plays you.
Oh, right.
But I was, I was just struck by how timeless that story is, and just, I mean, I'm just such a fan of that project, and especially these days with everything happening politically and everything else, I feel like it really foregrounds the nobility of journalism as a public service.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to be a journalist when I was young. That was my first idea. I wanted to be a writer generally, and I thought I'd be, Ernest Hemingway had worked on the Toronto Star when he was 17, and I figured I'd go and work on the Croydon Advertiser. But I didn't have enough qualifications. I'd flunked school, so they said go away and get 5 O-levels in those days. But when we did State of Play, I got letters from journalists who were very relieved that they were for once being portrayed as people who were, not only useful but kind of heroic. I have I still have a very romantic idea about journalism, which is, and I have no reason to question that, even though, there are people doing the job who are corrupt, but then there are people who are doing every job that are corrupt. Right. So it's not specific to journalism. But I got loads of letters from journalists saying, "Can we come and work for you?" And and they asked several editors on a radio show once what they thought about my character. One said, what was it? One said something like, "I don't want to be him, but I want his office," because I had a very big office. I can't remember the others, but they were very, very funny. But it went, and I think journalists were grateful that. And I actually did get to at one point, I think, say not quite hold the front page, but I got to say something along those lines. Right. And you then cut to a huge newsroom. I'm a sucker for all that. All the President's Men. All the President's Men is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a sensational movie. I don't know, and there are several others. As soon as they cut to a newsroom and people have got their sleeves rolled up, I'm kind of engaged.
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, I teach media classes here.
Oh, right.
And so we just wrapped our journalism unit, and that's something I've been really trying to emphasize, especially again in this day and age, right now where we're at. The role of the media is more important than ever.
Absolutely.
as a public service.
Sure.
And the service aspect of it, above and beyond ratings, and it's just you're doing a job for the people who can't.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I'm just such a fan of State of Play. I've seen it so many times.
Great. No, me too. It was one of my favorite jobs. I love playing that part.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bill. I really...
Thank you, Zaki.
I'm such a big fan of yours, by the way. Thank you so much.
Well, pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.
So that is that. We do have more stuff to talk about, Brian.
Hey, bring it.
Well, before we talk about headlines, we do have one listener letter. Specifically, this is a new review up on iTunes.
Oh.
And this is from Bushra, one of our regulars. And she says, "I love this podcast. I started listening to the MovieFilm Podcast at around episode 40, which I think is like probably when you want to start listening, right?"
Yeah, that's a good. We were finding our footing, and
because episode 40, well, that maybe not 2 years in, maybe episode 20, I would say you're probably good.
It was a journey, and it was a fun journey, but I think we found our way eventually.
She says, I started listening to the Movie Film Podcast at around episode 40, and I'm still listening because of how much I enjoy Zaki and Brian's talk about movies. Their camaraderie with one another and their insight into films makes for an enjoyable listen, and I always look forward to a new episode. Check it out.
Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah. She then followed up with, it's now been 3 weeks since their last episode. F these guys. I'm done. Deleting subscription. Oh, geez, that's a shame.
It's really nice hearing these things because it's like, you put this out there and you just hope someone enjoys listening to it. And it's always nice hearing that someone does.
People talk about our camaraderie, which I'm always grateful for, which shows that we are good actors. Because we hate each other.
Ugh. As soon as you turn this mic off, we become like those like diva news anchors.
We're like Laverne and Shirley, offset.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they hated each other. But yeah, thank you so much for that. And it's funny, actually, we're talking about going back and listening to old episodes. I have a friend who, he's a big Star Wars fan, so I was like, we talked about Rogue One, so here's the podcast if you want to check it out. And he has enjoyed the show so much that the last time I saw him, he's like, my job is like really rough. The whole week is just brutal, and the only thing I look forward to the most is Friday afternoon. I'm going to drive home. I get a bag of chips, a can of soda, and I queue up an episode of MovieFilm from the archives to keep me company on the drive home.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, and he pinged me the other day. He's like, hey, did Alan Thicke really do your theme song? And I was like, when did we say that? And that's a deep, deep cut from episode 1 of this podcast.
No.
Yeah, that was Sean. Like, I want to thank Alan Thicke for doing our theme song.
That feels like a very Sean joke.
That's right. So, Alan Thicke, the late, great Alan Thicke did not do our theme song. But we'd like to think that it's something that he would have done because it's certainly in that spirit.
Yeah.
It's in the spirit of a Thickish theme song.
I think so.
Thick-esque, if you will. Alan, that is, not Robin.
Right.
Moving on, we do have some headlines. So in a way, Brian, this has been almost worked out to our advantage that we have had such a long layover because there has been Batman drama up the wazoo happening for basically the past month.
I know, and instead of just having to continually correct ourselves,
yeah,
it looks like we held out for where everything's ended up. Well, actually, as I say that, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? But
this is interesting. So for the past year now, we've been talking about the upcoming Batman solo film, The Batman, which was going to star Ben Affleck, and it was going to be written and directed by Ben Affleck. That was the selling point for this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be Ben Affleck's directing. It's going to be a big deal. And what I heard about 2 months ago from somebody I trust was, listen, Ben Affleck's not going to be directing this movie. And I was like, all right. And the sense I got is that he is very unhappy with the state of the DC expanded universe. To which I said, hey, Ben, get in line. There's a lot of us who are in that state of mind, right?
Yeah, and it's because we're depending on you now to make us excited about it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because I'm sure, that's not what he signed on for.
Right.
I'm sure he signed on for, there's going to be a bunch of movies, and I get my little corner too. That's cool. Again, I get to be Batman. But with each new entry, from first Batman v Superman, disappointed, and then Suicide Squad, certainly critically disappointed, if not commercially, it reached a point where more and more it was like Krusty's coming. Ben Affleck's Batfleck is coming, And so there's that level of pressure. There's the fact that wherever he went while promoting Live by Night, which you and I discussed last time as not a great movie.
Wow, was that the last time?
That was the last time, a month ago.
Wow. Okay.
So every time he's talking about that movie, he has to answer for Batman, right?
Right.
And so it was funny because Affleck was on, I want to say, the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he's like, listen, I'm doing the Batman. I'm going to be directing it. It's going to be great. Whatever, total damage control. And my friend is like, listen, he's not. I know he said that today. He's not. I was like, all right. And wouldn't you know, like a week later, not directing the Batman.
Yep.
So at that point, but he's still attached to Star.
Right.
My sense is that he will also not be starring in it.
Wow.
Don't read too much into that, but that's just if I were to make a prediction, I would say he's not going to be starring in it.
Can you believe it? I mean, you get Ben Affleck,
Yeah.
huge star, and has, had this, turnaround where he's become this like super well-respected director, and he gets the role of Batman. That's something he doesn't have to do.
That's right.
Right? But so you would think there's some sort of passion for it. And, he showed us that it's something that we all enjoy in Batman v Superman. So here we are. But the fact that he might not even make it to a solo Batman movie, it was just these little appearances in all these other films, but he might have been so disenchanted by whatever DC is doing that he might not even make it to the solo Batman picture we were all looking forward to.
That's something. Well, and the thing here, I mean, my understanding is his discontent comes from seeing the state of the Justice League film, which is finished with shooting at this point.
Right.
And he's my sense anyway is that he's not thrilled with what he's seeing. But what did they think this was going to be? I mean, you and I had this conversation a year ago when we talked about Batman v Superman. Like, we know what to expect, at least visually, from the Justice League movie because we've just seen Batman v Superman, and it's not like Zack Snyder's going to suddenly shift gears.
Right.
So the fact that, I mean, I lay this entirely on Warner Brothers' shoulders because they were so hell-bent on this ridiculous release schedule that after Batman v Superman, there was no time to hit the pause button and make adjustments. They had to, if you remember, they started filming Justice League like within a month of Batman v Superman coming out.
Yeah.
So they were locked into the script, they were locked into the director. Because why? Because they had to work around the talent.
Right.
And well, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, and it's funny thinking about it now because it still feels sort of far away that's coming out, but I forgot quite a while ago we saw an early trailer for it.
Yeah.
Which was their way of sort of being like, no, trust us, it's going to feel different. Because
it didn't look bad, to be fair.
No, but it was definitely playing up the fact that they're like, we do jokes now.
Look, humor,
right?
We have humor now.
Yeah, I mean, when have we ever seen anything like that?
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
The joke trailer,
right? Well, I mean, they must have even still been filming when that happened. But
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, no, whatever.
Well, I mean, this was Comic-Con. So.
Yeah, I can see the desire for a tease, and it came to mind also, which is very different. But I remember at the end of Back to the Future 2, where they were like giving teases of Back to the Future 3 in the theater.
That's right.
But anyway, that was just to cover what I just said. When who's ever done that before? I guess they haven't done that before, but I mean, it was obviously like a very, the motives behind it were clear. Why they would. Yeah. Throw something like that up so quickly.
I mean, I think it was, like you're saying. I mean, it's like, hey, look, we have humor now. It's not dour and this and that. But I've said this all along. What were you expecting when you put Zack Snyder in charge on the storytelling level?
Yeah, and not even a slam against Zack Snyder. He does what he does.
He knows how to compose a shot.
For sure.
His ability to create really beautiful and interesting imagery, I will cop to that. But I mean, he's not a storyteller,
right?
And right. his vision of this universe is so sort of grimy that it's like, again, what were you expecting? Like that's what is so baffling to me. Like you're looking at Marvel in terms of, oh, look at the Avengers, it did so well. But it's like, what about all the runway that they had to build to get to there?
Yeah. And that's, I mean, goes without saying. I mean, that's why we care. We had all that time to be, get engaged with that.
And it's the whole thing, like, I get this all the time, right? Because truthfully, I'm like, look, if you like Batman v Superman, good. I'm glad you do. Sincerely, I'm not even saying that in a dismissive way. I'm great. I'm not. I'm glad that there's many different flavors of potato chips, even if I don't eat every single one. Right?
Yeah.
But the thing that irks me is, well, you just don't get it. You don't get how sophisticated it is.
Right.
No bullshit. You can like it. I like Masters of the Universe, the movie from 30 years ago.
That's so weird. I like literally caught the last 10 minutes of that before I started this.
It's because I live inside your brain, Brian. I'm
clearly.
I'm pulling images. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's Dr. Zhivago, and you just don't get it. I mean, that's what's been driving me bananas is this weird turf war, Crips and Bloods, comic nerd Crips and Bloods.
It is true. I used to work with these people, and there was this guy that I worked with, and he was like exactly like you were saying, Crips and Bloods. Like he was DC ride or die, and like he was. It was like, well, that's great, man. Like, good. But it was like, it had to be something that was known, and the other side had to be like brought down. It was like,
that's so funny. You can
cool,
like
man.
both. You
cool.
can totally like both. It's totally fine,
Yeah.
But regardless, so that was like our long-winded tangent. So Affleck distanced himself from the director's chair. Officially, he's still attached to Star. Let's put a pin in that because I'm sure that will be a developing story. But so DC, Warner Brothers, they reach out to a bunch of other people. Now here's the thing. Affleck said, I'm not going to direct it unless the script is right.
Right.
So the fact that he's not directing should be a red flag.
Right.
So they reach out to several people. Among them on the list was Ridley Scott, which, come on. You know what I mean?
You got to try.
Yeah. Right. I think Fede Alvarez is one of them. He did the Evil Dead remake from 2013.
Okay.
And then Matt Reeves.
Right.
He of the two most recent Planet of the Apes reboot movies, so Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and the upcoming War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yep. And did the U.S. remake of Let the Right One In?
Let Me In, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And he did Cloverfield.
Yes.
So it first went out that he was one of the people they wanted, and then it came out that he was in talks. Now, we've talked before on this show about how internet culture sort of breaks stories that probably should not be broken.
Right.
And this feels like one of those, right? Because in talks is not the same as has signed on.
Correct.
But he exited talks.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't want that story breaking, because it doesn't matter how serious the talks are or not, it just looks bad.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if I'm Matt Reeves, why would I do this movie? What's the upside in it for me?
The only thing that can make it worth it for everyone involved is if Warner Brothers gives it the time to breathe to become the movie everyone wants it to be.
Which they won't.
Which is stupid.
Yes.
I mean, you know what? There's two ways to think about it. One, you don't want to screw up Batman, and everyone will wait for a good Batman movie. I don't think anyone is going to care or turn if Batman comes out a year later, right?
And I mean, to that point, is anybody clamoring for another Batman movie either?
Exactly that. We'll just be excited to get a good one when we can get it. But on the other hand, I do realize that movies, as much as we love them and talk about them, we forget sometimes that they are a business.
Sure.
And there's quarterly, things that need to be met money-wise and whatnot. And if you pull that from their slate, then they have this huge hole where they were hoping to make $1 billion. So I don't know. It just sort of sucks mixing those things sometimes, but
it's. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's a situation where I'm looking at it again, we're making the comparison, but look at the MCU approach, right? Is Tony Stark in every single movie?
Right.
I mean, when they use him, it's pretty strategic. Right, because he's in Avengers, he's in Iron Man, and he has a pretty key role in Civil War. Why is he in Spider-Man? I'm pretty sure because Sony made it the use of the character contingent on that.
Sure.
But my point is, we now, instead of relying solely on the Iron Man franchise, we have now the Doctor Strange franchise, and the Ant-Man franchise, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. They spent the time really building out.
Right.
And that's what they need to be doing here. I mean, the closest we have is Suicide Squad to building out. But, oh, look, Batman's in there too, Mm-hmm. And you don't need a Batman movie. I mean, there's other characters. There's viable characters. I'm looking forward to the Aquaman movie, personally. I'm still hoping that'll be the thing that kind of rights the ship a little bit.
I hope so. I mean, just everything I see so far just looks like so heavy metal.
Sure.
In the most sort of teenager scribbling in his high school notebook way. Like I can't remember. I just have this image in my head, and it could be a total behind the scenes photo, but I remember seeing a picture of Jason Momoa with like a guitar.
Okay.
And it was just like, I don't know. It just looked silly to me. But it's like, again, that could have just been a behind the scenes photo I mistook as a still from the movie. But I'm hoping it's cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's behind the scenes. I'm looking at the picture right now.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain. I could be wrong, but
I just have this image of him like shredding on a rock.
Right.
Like a wave crashes behind him and like Creed starts playing or something.
James Wan is directing the Aquaman movie, so I am hopeful, and I hope Wonder Woman is good too. By the way,
ditto.
Yeah.
I would love both those movies to be great.
Yeah, I mean, and Wonder Woman comes out in just a few months.
Wow.
So that's a coming up.
Yeah.
Other news: there is a Lion King remake happening.
Yeah, which is super interesting because it's directed by Jon Favreau, who did the Jungle Book.
That's right.
Remake, which was live action version of the remake of the animated Disney version, and then we have the animated Lion King, which is being remade into a quote unquote live action movie. I don't know how that's going to work because
it's another animated movie. You can't call it live action.
Right, but I guess it's going to be like photorealistic.
Yeah,
and I don't know, but yeah, what's kind of cool about that though is that they just announced this week who's going to be playing Simba, which is none other than Donald Glover.
Yeah, Donald Glover, Mr. Pooped His Pants.
Oh my goodness! Like we've loved this guy since his like early internet videos and stuff.
We're like OG Donald Glover fans.
Yeah. I think we've talked about that before.
We may have. If in case you're listening and you don't remember this, just go to YouTube, punch in Jerry Poops His Pants.
Right.
And this is a video that Donald Glover did back in the day. He was part of a group called Derek's Comedy.
Uh-huh.
And he does a video where he plays a guy named Jerry who poops his pants.
And it is just hysterical. And then he, shows up on Community, and we're like, hey, that guy.
The poops his pants guy, yeah.
Now he's going to play Lando Calrissian.
That's right.
And, it's funny, I was thinking about this when they announced that he was going to play Simba, and I was wondering, remember there was that picture that someone, slyly took with their phone where Billy D. Williams and Donald Glover were having lunch together.
Okay.
Presumably sort of a passing of the torch lunch, asking him questions about the character, I imagine. So I was wondering if Donald Glover was going to have a lunch with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh, I would have said Matthew Broderick, but
I just thought it worked better with the joke.
I'm sure. I'm wondering if Matthew Broderick was kind of like waiting by his phone, like, "Hey, your original Simba here, still available,"
Right.
And the reason I say that is because it's pretty cool. Donald Glover is going to be Simba. I'm sure he'll be a great Simba. But who's voicing Mufasa?
Well, who do you get to take the place of James Earl Jones?
Well, that you can't say get me another James Earl Jones when there is still a James Earl Jones.
So screw it, get James Earl Jones
again,
which is what they're doing. As it should be.
Which, seriously, right?
I mean, you don't replace James Earl Jones.
I got to be honest. Just imagining seeing the scene where Mufasa dies in like a live action context, I'm crying in advance.
Yeah. Because Lion King is so good.
How many kids were traumatized by that scene?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite Disney animated movies, and Jon Favreau so delivered on the Jungle Book.
Oh
I'm really looking forward to this.
Reflexively, I'm like, do we need a live action Lion King? I don't know that we do. I still
don't
feel
disagree.
That. However, I can't think of anyone better to do it than Jon Favreau.
I just have this feeling, like you say, do we need it? I don't think so, but will it be good? I'm guessing it will be.
I think that Disney cannot allow it to not be good.
Right. And I was hearing early buzz on the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And it was across the board, people loved it.
Yeah, I'm looking for
And I was like, you know what? I'm not surprised. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're just doing it.
They just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Moving on, another movie that I don't know that we need it, but I am looking forward to it. Mission Impossible 6.
You know what? I want it. I'm growing to love these movies. I've liked every single one of them. I mean, I know 2 doesn't hold up like it probably did in the middle 90s or whatever, but I've loved every single one of these movies, and I find myself, especially when they sort of re-kicked it off, sorta with 3 with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, right.
I just feel like 3 was great. 4 was even better, and then 5 was even better than that. And so I'm like, dude, why stop? Let's go. Like, I'm ready for another one.
So this is Christopher McQuarrie is coming back. This is the first time in the franchise's history that we've had the same director doing back-to-back movies.
Yeah, who Tom Cruise is clearly enchanted with this guy.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. I listened, I think I've recommended it before, but the DVD commentary to
Rogue Nation
5, yes, Rogue Nation is so worth a listen.
Really?
It's really amazing. Like, their camaraderie is great. They sort of talk about, why they like each other, and it's very clear why they work so well together. And then just hearing how this really complicated story came together. I mean, it's in some ways no different than like a bunch of film students just trying to piece together things on the fly. Like, it's inspiring in a way. It's like it's not like when the budgets get bigger and the your star gets bigger that things change. It's still like scrappy and trying to tell the best story you can. And I thought it was a really illuminating conversation between the two of them. But so anyway, they obviously work well together. The movie is great, so I can't wait to see another one from them.
Well, and I mean, you mentioned that you just love the quote about how they come up with the big eye-popping set pieces for these movies.
Well, that was the thing, right? Because what was the I'm going to mispronounce it. Was it the Burj Khalifa?
Yes. Oh, you got it.
In 4, where Tom Cruise like rappelled off of that, like the tallest building in the world, which is insane. You're like, well, how are you going to top that? And then it's him being attached to the outside of a plane as it takes off a runway. And you're like, okay, well, this is like obviously an established thing now that they're going to have to keep topping themselves. What in the world are they going to do? And yeah, I love this quote when they were talking about working on 6, where McQuarrie says this. He says, I came to Tom with a picture of something, and Tom looked at it and said, that's awesome. I want to fall off of that. That's just hilarious. So I'm really curious what it is, but that quote just cracked me up. That's cool. I want to fall off of that.
And you can do that.
He can do that. He's this 54-year-old actor.
Well, he knows Xenu will catch him before he hits the. We're not expecting Tom Cruise to join us on the show anytime soon. So
Right.
we just burned that bridge. And when does MI6 come out anyway?
July 27th, 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
So coming up, okay. And it's extraordinary. I mean, he's been playing the role for, at this point, by the time the movie comes out, 22 years he'll have been playing it.
Wow. That seems to be happening a lot lately, doesn't it? Like these, I have nothing to back that up.
Well, I mean,
I realize I have nothing to back that up.
Well, you have Hugh Jackman, obviously. He'll have put in 18 years, but 17 years, excuse me.
That's true. I mean, and that's cheating a little bit, but then Patrick Stewart is Professor X or whatever. It's like, It seems like when we were a certain age, some of these characters got sort of locked in, and we were just happy to watch them grow over the years rather than continually replace them until they, or it seems like in a lot of cases, until actors become disinterested, they're like, hey man, let's see how long they want to do it.
Yeah. And I think for Tom Cruise, I mean, he's also a producer on the Mission Impossible series, and he knows it's kind of his bread and butter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like come what may, his other movies go up or down box office wise. He's not invincible like he used to be.
Right.
But the Mission movies always do well.
Yeah.
What
was the last one? Oh, Jack Reacher, the sequel to Jack Reacher, which I didn't see.
I heard it's not good at all.
Yeah, I heard that too. I'm sure somewhere down the line I'll end up catching it, but yeah.
So other news, I mean, we're talking about kind of these big franchise movies and how those are the bread and butter for studios. Other movies are not necessarily bread and butter for studios, which is why alternative distribution is starting to come in. And the latest news, I don't know if you heard this, Martin Scorsese's new film is not going to be released by a studio. It will be released by Netflix.
I did not hear this.
Yeah. So his new movie is called The Irishman.
Okay.
And the original plan was for it to be released by Paramount. But Paramount took a bath on Silence.
Right.
The movie Silence, not the concept of silence. they decided not to say anything for a while, and it didn't work out. They released Silence a few months ago, and I mean, that movie was always going to be a hard sell because it was like 3 hours long, and it's about, Christian missionaries in ancient Japan.
Yeah, basically suffering for 3+ hours.
It stars Spider-Man and Kylo Ren. So I did not see it. Did you see Silence?
I did see it.
You did.
Yeah, it was a movie where it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I promise I'm not. I appreciated it. I definitely appreciated it. I mean, the story I appreciated, performances, whatever, but like it was a slog. Yeah. I personally found it to be a bit of a slog. So
I think Paramount was sort of gambling on it getting some award season buzz, which did not happen. Right. Critical reviews were kind of mixed. So they ended up they took a loss on that. And last year was not a good year for Paramount. And I think their CEO or their chairman has just been ousted, from what I read.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah. So Scorsese's upcoming movie is called The Irishman, and it stars, I believe it stars Liam Neeson, if I'm not mistaken. Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro's in it. My mistake. And it was originally going to be released by Paramount, but they decided not to, so Netflix picked it up. And I was thinking, I mean, is this not inevitable? Because the truth is that I don't even consider that a step down, because it will get watched on Netflix.
So this is going to be, that's the thing I don't understand, because Amazon produced Manchester by the Sea.
Yes.
Which was exclusive theatrically first. So, but with Netflix, there's no plan then to ever put anything into theaters first. Like I Martin Scorsese movie will premiere on Netflix.
I believe it will go to theaters, but I would assume it will be fairly limited and kind of a loss leader, if I were to guess.
Huh.
Because in order to have Oscar consideration, it has to be in theaters first.
Right.
Right, so I can see it being put out there in some capacity, but I would imagine if you're Netflix, the goal is, like what was the Idris Elba movie, Beasts of...
oh, yeah.
What was
No Nation?
Beasts of No Nation. Something like similar to that, I would expect.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Silence cost $46 million, and it made $7 million.
Oof.
Right. And it's weird because, I mean, compare that to Wolf of Wall Street, which made like $400 million.
I mean, admittedly, the subject matter was...
Granted, it had Leo DiCaprio and naked Margot Robbie.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it was a more, vivacious movie. But, like, it's almost like making Silence was just like a very expensive... Thanks for all the great movies, Martin.
Sure.
kind of move, because I mean this has been a passion project of his since like the 80s.
That's true.
Yeah.
So The Irishman will star. Let me see. It's going to have Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in it, and Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel. I mean, this is actually, just reading this, it sounds more commercial. So it's weird that Paramount kind of was like, no, we're not going to do it.
Well, and I mean, like you already sort of alluded to, I mean, Netflix is like no joke. Like their shows are some of the top shows that anyone is watching or talking about these days. It's just interesting in their movie game. When they started with the Adam Sandler thing, I mean, his star has been fading a little bit, but at the same time, it was really interesting. It's like, well, that's a movie star putting movies exclusively on Netflix. But I mean, now you have Martin Scorsese putting movies dealing exclusively with Netflix. I mean, that is a grand move there.
That's big news. So that's going to be next year. So I'm very curious what happens with that.
Yeah, well, I'll certainly watch it.
Speaking of other new things coming up, I wanted to briefly discuss the trailer for King Arthur.
Uh-huh.
This is a new Guy Ritchie take on the classic Arthur myth. And let's go ahead and play some of the audio from that first.
Why is the water dropped? Why does the sword reveal itself now?
As your power increases, so do the forces that will oppose you. The born king will come. It is inevitable.
You felt it. The power.
I've never had any power or any desire to achieve it.
That's what all the fuss is about.
Don't worry. You'll soon understand what all the fuss is about.
Are you scared?
I think I can manage.
You should be scared.
whatever it takes to hunt him down.
So this is King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. This is meant to be the first part of a trilogy of some kind. It's like I said, Guy Ritchie's directing. Charlie Hunnam as Arthur. What's his name? Eric Bana. Your buddy, Eric Bana.
You know, I got to admit, I was just like, all right, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't even clicked on this just regularly as I look into this stuff. I only watched it because I knew we would talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, here we go. And then I saw Eric Bana, and I was like, Eric. Like I am always, you know, my at the risk of being name droppy, like we've talked about this before, but I worked on a movie with him, and he is just easily the nicest actor that I have worked with, like on all the movies I had worked on. And so I'm always like happy to see him doing stuff.
Yeah, especially because lately his profile has kind of dropped a little bit.
Yeah, exactly that. Like he seemed really poised to be like a huge star for a while.
Yeah.
And then he just doesn't show up as frequently. So it's really cool whenever you do see him.
Yeah. So, you know, King Arthur is one of those things that I have been waiting since I was a little kid for, like, the definitive, epic King Arthur movie.
Right.
Not the, like, oh, let's do a modern twist on King Arthur. Or, hey, this is the real story of King Arthur. No, just do King Arthur. Like they did back in 2004. There was Anton Fuqua did King Arthur, if you remember. With Clive Owen, I think, was in that. And I'm like, can we just do a real King Arthur movie?
Wait. Wasn't there someone else in that movie?
Yeah, I think it was, I want to say Keira Knightley. She was like, "Oh, King Arthur, I'm Guinevere, I am."
That was for Michael Olsen.
Thank you. And Guinevere is not like the princess or whatever. She's like, "Oh, I'm a warrior woman from the forest, I am. I'm covered with leaves and dirt." Anyway, that movie is garbage. Anyway, that's my point. And I'm tired of this. I've said this before. Like, I'm tired of them doing this is the story you don't know.
Right.
Tell us the story we do know first.
Yeah.
Like you know, like they did that with Robin Hood in 2010 with Russell Crowe.
Right.
This is the real story. I'm like, I don't know. Give us this. No, I want the real one, not the one you tell me is the real one. I want the one with all the stuff I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, like, and I to me, it's like, hey, this is the real story of Superman. You know, did you know actually the real inspiration for Superman was a strong man from the circus in the 20s? His name was Sid Superman, who wore a blue leotard. He didn't save people, but he wore a blue leotard. Like, that's, I don't want that. I want the Krypton and this, and the flying and the stuff. So
that's why we love these characters.
That's exactly right.
The thing you're denying us.
That's exactly right. So King Arthur to me is like that. Like, we have yet to get the definitive epic King Arthur story, beginning to end, from the time he becomes the king to the time he is mortally wounded. That's what I want. I don't know if this is that, because I can't tell tonally what it's trying to be.
It was hard because the trailer features Led Zeppelin.
That's right. So I'm like, is this a trailer problem or a movie problem? I don't know.
Which, I typically don't like medieval stories. That's on me, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And I just find they all kind of blend into one another, and I didn't really grow up with them, so I'm not endeared to all that stuff. But, like, I started this, and I was like, ugh. But I was like, no, I'm going to keep an open mind. And then the Led Zeppelin song kicked in, and there was something I actually kind of liked about the juxtaposition. Like, I thought they kind of worked well.
Sure.
But then I had to remind myself that there would be no Led Zeppelin in this.
Probably not, right? I'm guessing.
And nor should there be.
Exactly.
But I was like, I have a feeling, this is just coming to me right now, and this probably doesn't even make any sense, but we give Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland a lot of grief. And I remember when I saw it in the theater, I was like, it's fine. Like, it wasn't awful, but it was like just like a visual, too much visuals going on. There were moments that I was like, okay, like I feel for this girl, but then it was over. I didn't think one more thing about it. I have a feeling this will be very similar to that, where it's just visually overstuffed.
Yeah.
Because they can. Sure. And I'll probably have some moments that I glom onto, but I probably won't think about it the second the lights go up.
See, that's a shame to me because again, I've said all along, I mean, the Arthur legend is one of the most, compelling, stories in Western literature, you know? It's this amazing story. Like, we know the iconography, even if we don't know the specifics of the story. We know Lancelot and Guinevere and the Excalibur and all. I mean, we know those things, right?
Right.
And so when you think back, like, because when I was in high school, I read The Once and Future King, which is, you know, the American version of Idols of the King, the Arthur story. And, you know, I mean, I remember I was must have been a sophomore, I think, and I read the book and I'm like, man, this is such a good story. And there's never been a movie that really captures the grandiosity of it, the scope of it,
right,
the larger than life aspect of it. I mean, at the time they came out with the movie First Knight, remember that? That was like Sean Connery as King Arthur and Richard Gere as Lancelot. And it was totally one of those, like, this is the realistic version of that. And it's like, no, don't do the realistic version. Do the fantasy version, you know?
Right.
It's like, remember the movie Troy?
Yes.
Like, Troy had the scope, right? But what Troy didn't have was the fantasy stuff.
Right.
Because the whole thing with the Trojan War is like, oh, it's like monsters and cyclopes and just it's this fantasy monster universe. So when you say, no, we're going to tell the story of the Trojan War, but without all that stuff, it's like, yeah, but that is the stuff.
Right. Yeah.
The same thing with King Arthur. Like, it's mysticism and magic, and you got to have all that because that's the story, you know?
Right.
So I hope this is that. I have no idea what to expect. I think Charlie Hunnam is an interesting choice. I don't know if he's a good choice, but he's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these are my reactions to the trailer. Like, I hope it's good. I've liked Guy Ritchie movies in the past, so here's hoping, totally.
We shall see. That comes out this summer.
Yeah.
But moving on, as we wrap up this episode, we have lots of Star Wars news, Brian.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
All right, so you were saying?
Well, I'm saying, you know, we started Star Wars news because we were anticipating the first new Star Wars movie in, like, you know, a decade or whatever.
Right.
And it's just funny now that Star Wars news has continued because every week there's Star Wars news.
There's like, something to talk about.
It wasn't like a countdown and then the thing happened and we move on. It's like, no, it's like the train is in full motion here.
Well, with that in mind, I mean, what do we have in Star Wars news?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing was we got a picture from the set of the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Right, where it's, you know, no one in costume or anything, but it's the directors, Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and you have Alden Ehrenreich.
Right?
I'm going to have to learn how to say that. I'm sure I'm going to be saying that a lot.
You're going to be saying it a lot, yeah.
Yeah, Alden Ehrenreich. You know, just all in street clothes. Emilia Clarke, Donald Glover, and Woody Harrelson, Chewbacca.
Friend of the show, Emilia Clarke, by the way.
Yeah. And then, let's see, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I guess is playing a female droid.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, but they're in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, and you texted it to me the morning it came out, and just sort of like, you know, it just gives you a feeling. You know what I mean? Like, you're just seeing I don't even know these people, right? But like seeing them in that ship, seeing Chewbacca there, it's like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. I'm ready to go. So
yeah, it's funny because I posted the picture on Facebook, and this, alluding back to what we were talking about earlier in the episode, somebody left a comment like, "This picture is so white," and I was just like, "Can we not, please? Like, can you just like I'm with you, but can we not?"
Right. Well, I mean, who knows? Like, I feel like the movies have been striving to
that's what I'm
break
saying.
Norms and whatnot.
Seriously,
and, we'll see what the movie looks like when it comes out.
Yeah, like, this is the thing. If it's one thing, if the diversity has been an issue in these new Disney movies, the exact opposite. You know, the Force Awakens has a Latino, a woman, and a black guy as the lead. The main characters in the next one are all non-white. I mean, like, the diversity is not a problem in this Star Wars universe.
Right, so, and presumably it won't be in this one either.
Exactly. Tandy Newton is in it. We got Lando. Come on.
Right.
Donald Glover. Speaking of which,
I'm so excited to see his Lando. I'm really curious.
Me too. Well, I like you mentioned, you know, he had lunch with Billy D. Williams, and I love that he's like, so what does Lando mean to you? Like, I wonder what does he pick his brain about?
Yeah.
You know, why does Lando wear a cape in Europe? Right. And I will say this. It's funny because somebody was like, So, first of all, I want to say, like, I've been on board with Alden Ehrenreich's casting from the beginning, because I'm just like, well, if Kathleen Kennedy and these folks think he's right, then I trust their judgment.
Right.
But somebody's like, why couldn't they get somebody who looks like Harrison Ford? And I was like, he doesn't look like Harrison Ford. That's fine. But he looks like Han Solo.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I mean, like you look at him in that picture and you see Han Solo. I know I do.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's true.
I mean, he's got that grin on his face. I'm like, you know what? I'm absolutely down. I can totally see him becoming the Han that we meet in A New Hope. I have no problem if he doesn't look like, Han Solo's son.
Right.
I mean, River Phoenix doesn't look like Harrison Ford.
Right.
But we buy him as.
It's funny though too. Like, I'm trying to think of another scenario like this, but they cast someone and they're like, I don't see it. But then when you see the movie, they're in costume, they're acting. You're just like, oh, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I have this feeling like once he's doing the thing, it's gonna be like, oh, there's Han Solo.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there was a similar reaction to like when Ewan McGregor was first cast. I mean, we were too young.
Sure.
I think we just kind of took it at face value, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we were like, I don't know about that. But I'm curious if people were.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
But I mean, I would say Ehrenreich looks as much like Han Solo as like Harrison Ford as McGregor does as Alec Guinness.
Totally.
I mean, you buy it. It's not. They don't look like genetic clones of each other, but you buy it.
Right. Hopefully the spirit is there.
That's exactly right. So that comes out in May of next year.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, so they're reclaiming the May release time.
I mean, obviously they've had some time to work on this and like prep and whatnot, but just like, shooting now and then coming out in just over a year. It's like, wow.
So we're to assume that the Han Solo movie will be the Star Wars movie of 2018.
Right.
And what that means is it leaves 2018 December open for Avatar, right? Isn't that still coming out?
I think that's the thought, right? Because we've had the past 2 Star Wars films coming out in December. 8 will be coming out in December. So this is the first one getting back to Star Wars month of May.
See, and I got to be honest, this is kind of disappointing to me because I'm enjoying my December ritual.
Oh, I love it. I totally love it around, like the holidays and all that.
Yeah, and I feel like it makes more sense to release it because Star Wars just gets to eat up the real estate then, whereas in the summer it's just like rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah, there's something fun about it. I don't even know what it is. Just that time of year and just the way that it's been this sort of collective thing with people getting groups together to go see it. And then, like you said, like it's like, you have all the sort of awards movies that come out, but then that's like been the blockbuster of the month. And then exactly, for Disney's interests, I mean, the profits continue for the next couple months. So it'll be interesting to see what this one looks like.
Yeah. So other Star Wars news, we finally got some closure, or not, if not closure, some information about a beloved character from the canon, Brian.
Yeah.
We finally know the fate of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Beloved. It's so funny. He's not even real, but part of me felt bad. I was just like, just picking on Jar Jar.
That was what I thought too. So can you share that? What the story is here?
Yeah, poor Ahmed Best. As long as we're saying that, obviously Jar Jar isn't real, but poor actor Ahmed Best.
Really?
Who played this guy. I mean, I've seen interviews with him, and he talked about how, when they were making Phantom Menace, they thought he was going to be the breakout star of that film, and kids were going to love it, and da-da-da-da-da, and it just... That poor guy.
That obviously did not happen. So
no, I mean he was only doing what he was asked to do. Right. You know what I mean? And it turns out people really did not like that character very much. But anyway, it seems with all these sort of ancillary Star Wars books that are coming out that they're finding ways to sort of either allude back to little intricacies that we're all familiar with, or like tie up loose ends with side characters, minor characters. And one of those in the upcoming novel Star Wars Aftermath: Empire's End. Apparently it's in the years after Return of the Jedi. Some refugee boy named Mappo, M-A-P-O, encounters a Gungan performing for kids on the streets, clowning around in a fountain twice a day while being studiously ignored by the grown-ups.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to read all this, but he talks in Jar Jar speak.
It's clearly Jar Jar, and the idea is that he, in the aftermath of the Empire having come into prominence, he was sort of blamed for what happened because it is kind of his fault, and he became a performing clown in essence.
Yeah, and then I guess he explains to the kid. I will read this quote. Who am I? Yeah, apparently, this is a quote from the book. He goes, "Jar Jar making some mistakens."
Which I got to be honest. I read this and I'm like it felt cruel to me in a way. And it's weird to say that about a fictional character.
I didn't really think about it very much. I read it really fast and just like, okay, and I just moved on with it. And I saw a lot of people saying it felt cruel, and then I was like, yeah, I get that.
I mean, I'm not spending a lot of time. I'm not wailing and gnashing and rending my garments over the canonical fate of Jar Jar Binks. I don't really care that much. But I was like, I was like, kids like Jar Jar, like, leave him alone,
Right, yeah. Basically, he's like a hobo that people ignore now.
He's like the shame of the galaxy, basically.
Yeah, and then I just saw this morning. I can't remember if it's from the same book, but it's from some other book. But anyway, they apparently have a character that Chewbacca saves, and it's another Wookiee, and the name is like Lumpaloo something.
Okay.
Which is basically alluding to the character Lumpy from the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yes.
Which would be Chewbacca's son. So basically, they're like sort of trying to make, in a sly way, they're making the Star Wars Christmas special canon.
Okay.
Which was just like, like, I don't know. I don't really read these books, so I don't have any, anything to stand on here. But part of me is just like, do we have to do this? Like, do we have to keep doing this?
That's their plan. Just weave in as much of the pre-Disney stuff as they can.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't care. But like at the same time, it's starting to feel a little silly.
Right. Well, the nice thing about all of these, they can say canon, non-canon, whatever. At the end of the day, do you pay attention to the novels?
No.
And let's be honest, Jar Jar will never be acknowledged in a movie ever again anyway.
Right.
So it's there for the nerds.
It's funny though. I know
nerds who like Star Wars.
No. That's just the thing. Like, obviously, I adore Star Wars and like
nerd.
So, well, I mean, the films and like I love them inside and out and whatever. And so it's just, this does interest me.
Sure.
But there's like certain things that you sometimes read about. You just kind of roll your eyes a little bit. You're like, okay, whatever.
It's just Easter eggs at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think I've gotten to this comfortable age where I still am passionate about it, but I also am like, don't give enough of a crap to get up in arms about anything.
That's you and I both, and I mean I've said this before plenty of times. I mean for me ultimately, I just enjoy the kids being into it and sort of experiencing it through their eyes, which is fun,
Totally.
But one last bit of news. Now the title, we talked about the title last time, The Last Jedi.
Right.
I had a friend actually email me, and he's from France, and he says, "Hey, Zaki, I'm not sure you're aware of it, but the French title for Star Wars 8 gives one more indication than the original one." And I might be mispronouncing this. Les Derniers Jedi. And as he says, it means there are several, or at least two. So
See, that's interesting. I've heard that from I heard that German reveals the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of interesting then, that the Jedi is intended to be plural.
So there we go. So then we can say it's about Luke and Rey.
Yeah, if not more, but at the very least, yeah, Luke and Rey.
We also saw our first picture of the promo picture of the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? With Rey has kind of the shorter hair.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's coming up. I'm excited. I have to admit. I mean, we were talking about how we're like old fuddy-duddies and stuff, but I'm gonna be super psyched to see the first trailer, which I'm surprised has not dropped already. By the way.
Yeah.
For The Last Jedi, and I have to admit these are things I still look forward to.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that was the other thing too, where it's we've had time to be distracted a little bit with like Rogue One, and like news of the Han Solo movie and all these sorts of things. But it's like, no doubt, like, I mean, I I enjoy The Force Awakens a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing the continuation of those new characters.
Well, there we go. And that's a good place to leave things for this episode, Brian.
Hey, man, we did it.
We did it. We're back, baby. We're back. So we'll be back next week. Speaking of being back, we'll be back next week to talk about Logan. And so you can look forward to that conversation shortly after you hear this, assuming you listen to this right away. But until then, Brian, where can people find you if they're looking for you?
San Fernando Valley, California.
Okay. So just do you want to give your address and people can just show up there? Like what's the
123 Fake Street.
Sounds fake. As for me, you can find me at my website, zakiscorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter handle. That's also my Instagram handle. You can also find my movie reviews there and at the Huffington Post, as well as the Movie Film Show, as well as the Nostalgia Theater Show. New Nostalgia Theater episode will drop next week. I'll be talking with Jim Beard and Rich Hanley, who are editors of a new book called Planet of the Apes, Tales of the Forbidden Zone. It's a new fiction anthology which covers all aspects of the Apes franchise. And Brian, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I've told you this. Kind of a fan of Planet of the Apes.
Well, Zaki, as you said this, I cannot believe I forgot to tell you. I wish I'd put this at the top of the episode.
Okay.
The other night, Planet of the Apes was on.
Okay.
The original.
Okay.
And it was on Sundance Channel.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, it makes me think of you, and I've enjoyed it. The only time I've ever seen it, I've seen it twice, I think, is with you.
Three times. Three times.
Yes. All with you.
Yes.
And then the sequel was going to be on, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. And I was like, I've never seen any of these sequels. And like, I want to know what happens next. I watched Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. I enjoyed it.
That's so
I was
funny.
like eager to, I mean, I'm saying this part of the show, but I'm also telling you just like this is what I would have texted you. Like it was really interesting. You had told me about it, and it goes. I doubt I'm spoiling a 50-year-old movie. But
yeah, at this point, yeah.
It gets crazy. I mean, you have these mutants underground, and they're worshiping a bomb, and
they blow up the Earth.
They end the world. At the end of that movie, I was like, damn, I remember you telling me that, but it's hilarious at the end of the movie. Basically, Charlton Heston sets off this bomb. The screen goes white, and this like narrator's
hold on, let me do it.
Okay.
In one of the countless billions of galaxies in the universe lies a medium-sized star, and one of its satellites, a green and insignificant planet, is now dead.
Coming up next on Sundance Channel, blah, blah, blah. That was like literally what happened.
I did that from memory, by the way. I did that from memory. That's how pathetic I am.
No, that's amazing. But it was so funny. Like, it just happens, and then it's over. Like, we're moving on. And I was like, wait, let me process this for a second. Can we fade to black for a second? But yeah.
That's really funny.
That was fun. And I was ready to go for the next one.
That's so funny. Yeah, and I will say this. The next one, which is Escape from the Planet of the Apes, is probably the best of the sequels.
Really? I'm so bummed because I DVR'd it, and then it started the next one, and I was into it. I was like, here we go, okay. And then it like cut off, and I didn't think to tape the next one.
Well, you have access to Vudu, right?
Yeah.
The video streaming, not the witch doctor concept. Just to clarify, we don't do that anymore. We've been told not to. But you can watch it on Vudu. So
yeah,
it's available.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Definitely.
Yeah. But that's so funny. I'm glad you thought of me as you said that.
Totally.
But with that in mind, that wraps up this week's episode, but we'll be back next week. Again, just a reminder, please do send us your feedback, MovieFilmPodcast@gmail.com. Also hit up iTunes and Stitcher Radio, wherever else. Wherever you find podcasts, you'll find the show, but please go to iTunes and write a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, even if it's just a few words saying you love it. You need this show. This show is like oxygen to you. This show is like the love of a man or a woman, whatever. Let people know what you think, because every little bit helps. And with that, on behalf of the still recovering Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 112. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zaki